It is now 16 3/4 minutes before 8 o'clock. Jan of Kempton Park writes into Morning Live this morning saying the following: look at the news on the 13th of the 1st, 2009, and saw all of those people protesting "We are Gaza" to stop the war between Israel and Hamas, where the death toll is close to or topped 1,000 people. But what I do not understand, and maybe you can advise or ask people who arrange these protests, just over our border in Zimbabwe, 2,106 people already dead because of the cholera epidemic, also women and children. Total number of cases already 49,000 according to the World Health Organization. But there's no protest, people taking to the streets with banners. In Darfur, according to a foreign policy expert, 200,000 people have died, 2.5 million have been driven from their homes in 5 years. But you do not see protesters in the streets, no nothing. Please take note that I condemn the war between Israel and Hamas, but also every other situation where people's lives are lost due to the indiscretion of power-hungry leaders. You get the impression that the people do selective protests. It can be done against Israel, but please not against a leader in Africa. Is there any difference between these people, these cases rather, because people are dying, but because it is Africa, nobody seems to care, from the top to all those people now standing in the streets with banners. That's Jan writing to Morning Live at sabc.co.za, writing from Kempton Park. Let's return now to Leanne and get an update on the exciting developments at the Dusi. Leanne, any drama to talk about at this time?
I don't know about any drama to talk about, but I'll tell you what, it's getting more and more fascinating to watch because, as we heard Cameron, the organizer, saying a bit earlier, in the beginning you saw the professionals starting and taken to the water, and now it's not so professional, which is... he calls them the fish and chips rowers. Now, that's what's so exciting about this. Now you're watching everybody panel into one another, fall out of the canoes, get up, walking, and these guys really are well, now, I'm not giving you a good example because everybody seems to be good, but we've got a couple of them coming out now, and there you go, on your screen now, that's exactly what I'm talking about. And then you hear the audience just clapping and encouraging them to move on, and I won't tell you, they're also laughing, but I'd love to see them getting into the water and doing this. Like they were saying, they decided over a Hansa that they were going to take part in the Dusi, and they're doing it. Whether they're getting anywhere or not, that remains to be seen. Well, let me tell you, the youngest, there you go, encouragement going along. The youngest paddler on the field is 15 years old today. The oldest, 72 years old. This is the largest canoe marathon in the world. It attracts over 35 million rand to the region's economy. Over 15 countries are represented by the world media, as well as those participating in it. There are around about 1,400 paddlers, 3,600 seconders and supporters expected for the 3-day visit to KwaZulu-Natal. It's now a case for the organizers to expect the unexpected. The Dusi always spits out a surprise or two, but they say that they definitely are ready for it. Now, just to tell you a little bit more about the infrastructure, paddlers will be backed up by nearly 1,000 volunteers, 40 SAPS bikers, 300 peace monitors drawn from the local communities. You've seen them in the water behind me. They've got Navy divers as well for the safety of the canoers, and almost a dozen race helicopters, 100+ medical staff, a field hospital, and 50,000 spectators along the route. So it really is a well-organized event, and lots of participation by those involved in putting this together. Now, the Dusi Marathon is set to be one of the biggest events in the world, and Pietermaritzburg certainly the proud host of it. I'm joined by the city manager now, Rob Haswell. Rob, good to have you on the show.
Thanks very much. Thank you for coming down. Today's really an institution in Maritzburg. It's a paradoxical day. Everybody gets up earlier, but somehow gets to work later because they're watching the start of the Dusi. Yeah, it's a homegrown event, like the Comrades, like the Mid-Mile Mile. So we're very proud of the event, and the city, we pull out all stops to make sure that, everybody has great fun, if you call this fun.
Yeah, well, I call this fun. I think this is great fun. It's good to be watching, and more importantly, I'm sure to be a part of. What does it do for the city of Pietermaritzburg? Is it good for the economy?
Yes, it is a huge boost for the economy. In tourism terms, you obviously like events that extend over more than one day. And because this event starts, unlike the Comrades, this one starts in Maritzburg every year, because obviously the river only flows one way. And so therefore, yes, in the week building up to the Dusi, the massive influx of people to the city. So anybody in the hospitality trade does extremely well. And I think far more importantly is the marketing aspect of it. Along with our other big events, it really does put Pietermaritzburg on the national map as far as the sports city is concerned.
Let's get to one of the important aspects about this. We've addressed it quite a lot on the program, but the water and the safety of the water. You know, looking from the outset, it looks quite dirty, but you're telling me that this year it's the cleanest it's been in a long time.
Yes, you know, look, the appearance of the water is deceptive. It is our rainy season. The race is deliberately held at this time in January to coincide with the rainy season. Otherwise, you'd be portaging more than you'd be paddling on your way to Durban. So the water, I think, will always be brownish in color. The real concern is it healthy? Or is your E. coli count down? And I'm happy to say that there's been a marked improvement, particularly since last year. We've put extra people and resources and machinery into dealing quickly with any sewage leaks that we might get. And also we've been very lucky. We haven't had any major rainstorms in the week preceding the race. People must remember that the Dusi catchment contains large areas which are still tribal in character, where there is no waterborne sewage. We are in the process of installing, at a rate of probably 2,000 a year, what are called VIP toilets. So generally speaking, going forward, the water quality will improve, but it's not something that you fix overnight.
Another concern I was reading in the newspapers, a lot of people were worried about the crocodiles. I don't know if it's necessarily in the Dusi, but rivers running alongside it.
Yeah, look, there were a few reports of crocodiles, but it's really in the upper area of the Umgeni. There is a crocodile farm below Albert Falls Dam. So if it was indeed a crocodile, then it's probably an escapee from that crocodile farm. And that's certainly 30, 40 kilometers from the confluence with the Dusi. So I don't believe there's been a crocodile seen in the Dusi or the lower reaches of the Umgeni for a long, long time. And I think any crocodile faced with 1,000 canoes is going to get the hell out of it, if you'll pardon the expression.
Especially this batch coming down now.
Yes, I wouldn't like to be the crocodile, yeah.
No, neither would I. I believe you got a challenge for us this morning.
Yes, you know, this is like the Comrades. This is one of the races. It's like an umbilical cord that joins Pietermaritzburg, the capital, with that place down the road from here, Durban. So I'd like to issue a challenge to the city manager of eThekwini Municipality, Dr. Michael Sutcliffe. I think he and I should, it would be good if he and I both took part, competed in next year's Dusi Marathon. So I think Michael should learn to paddle.
Well, listen, we're going to keep this tape, and I want to see. Are you going to do it? Are you going to do a dual one?
No, I think we should compete. He might need a partner. I don't know, but
in other words, you don't need a partner. You're okay. You can do it by yourself.
Well, I'll try and find somebody in front who really knows the way. No, that's my secret.
That's your secret to success.
Home ground advantage, yeah.
Well, let me tell you, if you're listening, Mr. Sutcliffe, we've got a challenge out there for you. Durban versus Pietermaritzburg. Who is the tougher city manager?
We'll see.
Yeah, only the Dusi will tell. Thanks so much for being with us here on the program. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Pietermaritzburg City Manager Rob Huswell. Thank you.
Thanks again for coming down.
Yeah, it's our pleasure. Let us take a break. We'll have the final news, weather, and then shub from the Dusi after this. Stay tuned.
Thanks.